What is up, stylist from the back room? Good morning, John. Good morning, everybody. We've got news for you this week. Whoa, back feed. All right, here we go. We've got news. We've got something to talk about. We've got some great motivation, and we are reviewing some stuff this week. Good morning, John, my friend. How are you doing?
Good morning, Eddie. So, as we start every episode out with, how's your week, buddy?
It's a good week, man. We got the hair show in 2 weeks. I am pumped up. I am excited. We've got a lot of things going on. We got a lot of education coming up this week too. So it's fun.
I'm
I'm having
glad.
fun.
I'm glad that makes one of us. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Those are pleasantries, right?
All right, fair enough.
Let me hold on. I gotta find my notes here. There we go. So, yes, last week I made you a promise because you were going on about Cleopatra. And I want to set the stage for this because you do have a minor obsession with Cleopatra.
I do.
So why don't you give that to us, and then I'm going to hit you with a lot of information about her beauty regimen and her influence over beauty all the way back to her time.
Well, like as I was saying last week, I know of her exploits from a military history point of view. I've heard over the years, over my career, I've heard her Cleopatra constantly being attributed to a lot of modern day beauty things. And it's like, why do we do this? Oh, it's because of Cleopatra. Why do we do this? Because of Cleopatra. It's like, wait, what? It's like she basically, I'm not saying she invented all of this stuff. What I'm saying is she streamlined it or she modernized it or she's attributed to being among the first to bring it to like regular popularity, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So well, when we were talking about what we were talking about last week's episode, I'm like, oh, it really made me think about Cleopatra. And then we were going back and forth on it, and we didn't want to misspeak so much so that I wanted you to like fact check it. So then now you've gone in and you fact checked it. I am excited to hear what you've got for me.
Okay. So I'm going to preface this whole thing with we're gonna call her the first beauty influencer. I mean, her beauty was renowned. I mean, they went to freaking war over. She created wars and things like that. So besides you, she is also a beauty influencer.
Besides me, all right, yeah, I'm such an influencer. If anybody needs raccoon eyes, I am the influencer to show off raccoon eyes. Okay, 2 hours of sleep a night, stress upon stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You're welcome.
If anybody wants raccoon eyes, follow, subscribe, and you will have weekly tips on how to have.
Well, actually, let's rephrase that. You are the exact opposite of everything she was. Okay, she didn't want to look like a walking corpse. You're welcome.
I could be a stunt double for vampire, for Halloween or something.
I'm surprised you never tried out for The Walking Dead. So,
love it, love it. All right, what you got? I'm ready. I'm not composed.
You sure? You okay?
I don't know.
Okay, so the first thing that she was known for, and when people found out that she was doing this for her beauty regimen back in the day, was she used to bathe in goat milk and honey.
Oh, cool. So what's the benefit of? Do you know what the benefit of that is?
Well, the first thing is goat milk is so high in fats and lipids that it would soften the skin. and hydrate, and honey is very hydrating, so it would soften and hydrate the skin, especially with the desert, element that they lived in.
Super cool. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and that she created that became a very big thing for rich and wealthy women. They would bathe in goat milk and honey. Sometimes they would be substituted, if they didn't have a lot of goats. They would use donkey milk, believe it or not, because donkeys were very prevalent at the time. Also, she really brought forward sea salt sea salt scrubs. And what they would do is take sea salts, because salt was very readily available to them with salt mines and things like that. And they would mix it with essential oils and do full body scrubs. She would do full body scrubs, to detoxify the body, their pores and things like that. What do you
That
think about
is
that?
so fascinating.
Pretty cool, huh?
Because she was really obsessed with with beautification.
With beauty, obsessed.
Obsessed.
Besides also wanting to conquer the known world.
Well, no, okay, that part of it I know very well, right? That's how I know. But
Right.
yeah, like I've always heard about these spatterings of these beauty regimens and stuff like that. So okay, so
Right.
she used to bathe in milk and in honey
Milk and honey,
for smooth moisture skin and rejuvenate. Wow. Okay. Okay.
and then sea salt with essential oils for sea salt scrubs. People still get sea salt scrubs.
Yeah, exfoliation. It's an amazing like exfoliation thing. Yeah,
Right,
sure.
right. And then as an astringent to close the pores down and stuff like that, rose water. She was one of the first credited for using rose water.
And that's still used today.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. How about that, huh? Okay. And then here's another one. You ready? Clay masks to remove impurities, especially from the skin, from the facial area.
Dude, did you happen to look up when her time was?
I didn't think we were going to get that deep into it. I mean,
So this is like 1,000, almost 2,000, like 1,500 years later, over 1,000 years later. Like we're still doing this.
Well, and this goes right along with what we talked about last week, where in the Egyptian tombs in the Valley of Kings, they found brushes, hairbrushes made with natural bristles. They found combs made out of wood and seashells. There we go, seashells. I mean, that the beauty regimen was big back then, and it's just been carried forward. So yeah, they used clay. She used clay to soften their skin and to remove impurities. Because think about it, all the dust and sand that was in the air and stuff, in the desert. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right?
That's very amazing. And if you compare it to nowadays, the closest thing we got is pollution, I guess, or air quality.
Well, yeah. Or like if you've ever like been near like a construction site or anything like that, because they were constantly building, right?
Sure,
and there's always dust and stuff in the air.
Sure.
Yeah. So here's another one: hemp seed oil. Now they used to use hemp to make ropes. So hemp seed oil they used because it had a high content of proteins, essential fatty acids, and lipids.
Wow. So is that the evolution into nowadays, like with CBD?
No, that's completely different.
Okay.
Hemp and hemp seed oil has been around for a while. Remember, there were a couple companies that focused on that. All good things. And then last but not least, shea butter. They use shea butter as a moisturizer.
Dude, shea butter is a staple. Is a staple in beauty regimen.
Right. And also,
wow.
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
So you think about that, and like I said, just to go with what we were talking, what we start out earlier, she was doing that in like 20 AD, right? Or whatever it was. Don't
Whatever
please,
it was,
guys,
yeah.
guys,
Now,
don't
all
quote
right.
me on
So
the
now
date.
somebody's got
Don't
to
quote me
fact
on the
check that
date.
one and look that one up.
Yeah, but that was, and think about all those beauty practices, and that's just a handful. There are many that she is credited with. Those are just the ones that I thought were really stuck out. Um, Doing that all the way back then compared to what we're doing with beauty regimens now, and also using botanicals on their hair. They would boil nettle, let it cool down, and then rinse their hair with it because it was so acidic. It would make their hair so glossy because it would crank the cuticle down on the hair, right? Then we can get in. You could also get into. They used. My brain just shifted into neutral. Sorry, guys. They used to use henna to color their hair. True henna, though, not this stuff we're buying in the store now. True henna to color their hair, or they would crush up berries and things like that, make a paste, run it through their hair to to add tones and things like that.
That
I
is
mean,
so
these
cool.
are things that they used to do.
That
Pretty
is
amazing,
so wild, man. How much innovation was created, with
right?
limited resources of what they had for their time, and
Right,
how those are just such staple ingredients that have carried over, and lasted through the testament of time.
right. Isn't that cool? I mean, I think that's
That is
totally
fascinating.
amazing. So, wait, hold on. God, my notes keep cheesing out on me. Okay. So yeah, that's our little focus on Cleopatra. I'm gonna ask anybody if you have anything that that you'd like to add. Please put it in the comments, or message us, because as you can see, Eddie is quite smitten with Cleopatra.
Yeah,
So
man. Any other factoids about it? I would love to see the comments on that.
yeah,
I am. I
yeah,
love that kind of stuff.
that's super cool. So we are 2 weeks out from, as you mentioned, ABS. We are booth 1506, and we are classroom 52.
Yes, Classroom
We're
52.
classroom 52. If you haven't gotten your ABS tickets by now, get them. There's some deals going on. I think it's. I mean, we'll get into prices and things like that in another day. But get your ABS tickets. There's going to be a ton of education going on, put on by us, put on by a bunch of the other manufacturers, and knowledge is power, guys. Uh, that's where we're at with our HTB news. Now comes a big question that I have for you, because as we've established with this thing that we're doing, my knowledge of hair extensions you could probably fill this little cup with. Um, and I'm very fortunate that you took the time to train me with the on-stage hair extensions, which has really made a difference in my business. But I did a consultation 2 days ago, and I had a client. She's talking to me about extensions, talking to me about extensions. I want volume, I want length, I want, she showed me a picture. She wanted mermaid hair, and maybe she had a little more hair than I do. But then she turned on a dime on me, and she looks at me, she goes, "But wait, don't hair extensions ruin hair?" And I kind of looked at her, and she caught me off guard with that, because I thought we were on the path for to do to do extensions. And she's, don't hair extensions ruin hair? And I looked at her, and the only thing I could say to her was, if put in properly and maintained properly, you actually, hair extensions will actually help you get some of that hair back that you are starting to grow back in or what have you. And so now I'm going to put that question to you, especially because you know more about extensions than I do. So I'm going to pop that question to you. Do hair extensions ruin hair?
That is a question that gets asked so many times. It is such a misnomer. Anything done incorrectly and mistreated and misused incorrectly, of course, it's going to cause a damage or an adverse effect. But anything done correctly and maintained properly is going to be beneficial. Okay. Hair extensions do not ruin hair. Consultation, the misapplication, the wrong type of hair extension for that type of hair, that's what ruins it. You have to factor in each individual person's type of hair, and then you got to discover which type of hair extension system is the proper fit for that client's very specific type of hair. And when you use the right type of extensions for that client's hair, it will protect, it'll help it grow, it'll create more volume, more fullness. They will receive all the benefits. And when it's time to come back to revisit in the salon to maintenance, it's they just get to redo it and redo it and redo it. If hair extensions damaged hair, then hair extensions would not be as popular as they are nowadays. That's the big difference. Okay. Last night at the salon, the client that I had, when she first came in, she had I'm not going to say the brand, but she just had a very popular type of hair extensions. When she first came to me, she had a very popular type of hair extensions. Now, this client last night is getting married in August. All right. And she came to me in November or December, something like that. So it's only been a couple of months. It hasn't been that long. When she first came, her mother, somebody had referred me to her mother. So this is the daughter now who's getting married, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She comes in with her daughter and she goes, so-and-so referred me. I'm not going to say name, but so-and-so referred me to you. And, this is my daughter. She's getting married. Do you mind, taking a look at her? I don't understand what's going wrong, but her hair isn't just growing anymore, but now her hair's starting to break off. And they told me that you are really good with helping people grow their hair. So we're talking, doing the consultation, things like that. The girl's got a full head of hair. So that wasn't an issue. I mean, she got a nice, healthy, full head of hair. So I'm looking at her new growth. I'm looking at her roots and everything. Okay, that's not a problem. She's blonde, but she's not platinum white. So her cuticle isn't blasted to high hell. So that's not a problem.
Okay.
How often do you get touch-ups? Every 6 weeks. Well, if you're getting consistent blonde touch-ups every 6 weeks, then your hair is growing at a pretty steady clip. That's not an issue. And if you're this level of, like, she was about a level 9.5, 10. She's about a level 10 blonde, okay? So I'm not saying, like, okay, she's not platinum white, but she's pretty blonde. Naturally speaking, she's a level 5, level 6, which puts her, for anybody who's not a colorist listening to this,
wow,
she's a medium brown. So she's a natural brunette getting bleached out and lightened out to a blonde. Okay, to a bombshell blonde. I'll even say it like that.
Okay.
So every 6 weeks, you're going through that severe of a process to get to that brightness of a blonde, and her hair is still in a good condition, right? It's not magically freaking silky smooth, but it's still healthy. It's not straw. So whoever was blonding her hair, I clap to you. Great job on blonding her out. Okay. So then why is the hair not growing? That's the question that gets posed. Why is the hair not growing? It's messed up, right? Well, okay. Let's look at these hair extensions that you got in your hair. Separate the section out. And I did like like a jump scare out of a movie, out of a horror movie. I'm like, okay, here's the problem, right? Now, the daughter didn't catch my initial, like, I'm just over exaggerating that I did a jump scare, but I did kind of like blink and flinch when I lifted it up. The daughter sitting in the chair, she's looking at me through the mirror, but I guess she didn't catch my flinch. But the mother standing right next to me completely caught me flinch. And she goes, well, what's wrong? See, and then she went into total mama. I told you don't do these extensions. Extensions ruin your hair. You know, and the girl's like, Ma, extensions don't ruin hair, okay? Everybody gets hair extensions. So now these two are arguing with each other, and I'm going, I broke the cardinal rule. I broke character. You know, I should not have made it so obvious my flinch, right? So now I got to try to calm these two down. And so I get them calmed down, and I go to the ma. I go, come here. I go, just come back to the back of the head over here with me and take a look. Let me show you what happened. And as I'm talking to the mother, I say to the daughter, I go, look, I obviously you can't see this, but I want you to paint yourself a mental picture and listen to what I'm about to say to your ma. So I'm showing her. I'm like, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but that's my thumbnail. Okay. That's how wide the beads were in the back of this girl's head, were the width of my thumbnail.
Come on.
That's why I flinched. That's exactly why I flinched. Okay. I don't care what your system requires you to do. I don't care what type of hair they tell you what that's for. A bead should not be that wide under any condition, under any circumstance. Okay. I just don't personally agree with that at all, under any condition whatsoever. All right. The bigger problem to that is because the bead was that wide, they were drawing hair to fill in the bead. Okay. So you've got, I am not exaggerating. I wish I had a freaking ruler here. You legitimately had, how do you make this thing work? You legitimately had a 1-inch section getting drawn in to pinch off into this bead. All right. The amount of, and now it's grown out. Like when it was first done, I'm whatever you want to tell me it looked good when it was first done. This grew out. This grew out and was snagged, was matted, was tangled. Another bead was turned literally 90 degrees because the one side snapped off. So it was only being held on by the one side. And you guys listening might say I'm over exaggerating. I call shenanigans. I am not over exaggerating. Go Google bad hair extensions and you will pull up all kinds of insane. Okay. All kinds of insane. Like we could, you get the hair, the people of Walmart with their crazy hair and people do review and reaction videos to that. Yeah. Google bad hair extensions and you're going to see a whole array of horrendous mess. All right. And this is the problem. People look at this thing and people do these techniques. And just because you know one technique, don't shoehorn that to work on everybody. Discover the right technique for the right type of hair and match the two together. Okay. We do it with hair color. We tell people, I want to be a blonde. Well, you're going to have to do it in stages if you're naturally too dark. We don't have a problem saying that. We don't say, oh, I double process everybody. Therefore, I don't care if you're a level 8 natural or a level 1 natural. Everybody gets double processed. You don't do that. You know, if somebody's got kinky curly hair, you don't say, oh, you should have a bob. You should have an A-line bob. It'll look like a freaking poodle perm on the person. Mm-hmm. You have enough sense to recognize that. So you're okay with saying no to a bob haircut, an A-line stack bob haircut on a heavily curly haired person. Why is it when it gets to, if somebody's got, you don't tell somebody with thin, fine hair, just dump a bottle of oil on your head, when you're doing a product recommendation. You know what I mean? When it comes to beauty advice, we have no issue with saying no and to properly recommending the right type of service, haircut, style, or product to the client based on their type of hair. Why is it when it comes to hair extensions, all of a sudden you're like, hey, I know this one way of doing it, therefore that's the one you should get because that's the best one for all types of hair. And then everybody gets shoved into this one way, this one technique that you know, because it's very unfortunate. Okay, it's very, very unfortunate. I have taken over the years a lot of people, and I have helped their hair grow longer, stronger, healthier. Keratin bonds done correctly will encase and protect the natural hair that it's attached to. Okay, even beaded extensions will naturally encase and cover and protect the natural hair that it's attached to. Weft hair extensions done correctly should distribute the gravity evenly across that section. So as it's growing out from the head, you don't have these weird waterfall or this weird, sagging areas with
Right.
across the weft. Even tape, adhering enough hair to the adhesive, I'm pausing for a second because look, okay, fine, I don't care. I personally don't like tape extensions, but I'm all for it when it's done correctly, and that's the whole thing. Even oh man, I'm knocking things around. I get so worked up about this, dude. This is like just cut me off, man. Just cut me. This is my last drink, last call for alcohol over here. No, but that's the thing. Like, I get really worked up about this because hair extensions are so popular these days. And and people are talking about it a lot more openly these days too. And people are a lot more willing to get it done. So having this stigma out there that hair extensions damages hair, you have to take a break. Man, do I cringe so freaking bad. Well, you have to take a break after every second or third set, or after every second or third time of getting it done. You have to take like a 3-month break or a 6-month break to allow some new hair to grow back in, so then you could have enough hair to reattach to. WTF? Well, I know we're not allowed to curse on here, so I gotta freaking talk like that, right? WTF, GTFO, and GFY. Okay, I don't know what other initials I'm allowed to say on here. I sound like a 12-year-old right now. Ermagerd. No. Do the service correctly, and there is no damage. There is no issue. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. I'm done. I can't.
You just went 9 minutes. I did not speak a word for 9 minutes.
I can't.
This was amazing. That was amazing.
No, you do this on purpose. You hit me with these questions every week to get me freaking riled up on these things. And it's not nice.
Not a nice person. Are you new? But think about everybody that's watching us right now just learned something in the past 9-minute rant that you just went on. So,
what did you learn? I have another did you learn anything? Did I even answer your question? I don't even know.
You did it. You did answer my question because
what did you learn from all that?
You know what I learned? I learned that just like in everything else in our business and what we do behind the chair is doing it properly, the right way, no matter what it is going to benefit the client. It's not going to be adverse for your client and their hair. And also, I learned from you that you really have to use the right technique for the right hair. But we learned, for those of us that did hair back, you were probably still in diapers back when I got it behind the chair. But when we were wrapping perms all day long, you learned pretty quick that to do it the right way because you didn't want to rewrap that perm. Same thing, right? along those lines, and going right into strengthening and growing hair, my question to you is, have you heard of a thing, and it was I just read about it, is what is terminal hair growth? What does that mean? What does that say to you?
No, not terminal hair growth. Terminal length.
Terminal length. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah. Terminal length is the term. I understand what you're asking. This goes right in line with the girl. Terminal length means, depending on the texture, density, not necessarily the porosity, but the type of texture of hair that you have and the type of density that your follicle is producing. Your follicle is your anchor point from your scalp, and it can only support so much length, because just like when you go in the water, every so many feet the water pressure gets harder and harder. For every inch of outgrowth, gravity is pulling on your hair that much harder and harder and harder. Okay, so it gets to a point where that length, wherever it ends up being, is the limit of how much your follicle can support that length of hair by itself, just naturally by itself. And that's terminal length. And it's going to vary on everybody. And even on each individual person, interestingly enough, it's different throughout their whole head too. Like on some people, the front hairline can only grow up to here, but the rest of their hair can grow way longer down their body. Okay. So even on the same individual person, it varies. Terminal length varies. There is a lot of things that you can do to improve the core strength of your hair and your follicle. There's a lot of things that you can improve your scalp condition, and there's a lot of things that you can improve the overall texture and density of your hair too, which will allow you to grow past and beyond terminal length.
Yeah, which brings me to, I mean, a lot of my clients that are in that situation is I refer them to the Xenogen Evolve shampoo. Evolve helps massively for that situation. It brings nutrients back to the hair. Actually, I have a family member on it, and at the end, she's on her third bottle of Evolve now, and she follows it religiously. And what a difference it's made in her hair. Now, is it for everybody? I know, but anything you can do to help is gonna anything you can do to help is gonna bring it that much, the hair that much better, and that much more forward in getting them to where they want to be. But yeah, I mean, we all have that client where they get to that certain length and then the ends just look like wisps, and then that's when you go, yeah, you need 3 inches, to clean up that line. And they're like, no, I don't want to lose my length. But Evolve is what I would recommend. The whole Xenogen line. I mean, because I get them going on the conditioner too, because everybody always wants a conditioner to go with the shampoo. And it's fantastic. I have actually a client of mine who's a dermatologist who I just started her on Evolve because she was complaining. And I'm waiting to see what her professional opinion of it is. But I love it. I know you recommend it a lot too.
I recommend it a lot. I've been and I use, personally for myself, I use Revolve. But for Carmelina, I put her on Evolve when we first met, because she's got the curly hair. So curly hair is constantly springing up. And so to be able to grow curly hair longer, it does require a lot of strengthening and a lot of support. And Carmelina has a lot of hair. She's got more hair than should be humanly allowed, so it's not necessarily that she's using it to thicken her hair to have more of it. It's to make the hair that she stronger so she can grow it longer. Okay.
Right.
And that really, really is important to understand and differentiate the difference in those two things, because Xenogen overall has two different treatments. Evolve is designed to help people grow their hair topically beyond their terminal length. And it's done so through nutraceutical ingredients that are not harmful to the scalp or to the skin or to the follicle of the hair. Okay.
Right.
It works with your body's chemistry. It's made with, the shampoo is a treatment, the conditioner is a support. The reason why that's important, that the treatment is the shampoo, is because a lot of people do not spend enough time washing and cleansing their scalp. They don't spend enough time shampooing. A lot of people will go in, they'll do one of these, then they'll rinse it out real quick. And more people are willing to spend more time leaving a conditioner in their hair rather than a shampoo in their hair or a treatment in their hair, right? And the issue with that is, a conditioner is designed to remoisturize, revitalize, and seal the cuticle. When you're doing that, you're not allowing things to really get in. You're just basically locking things in.
Right.
And the idea behind the shampoo is you're supposed to exfoliate, you're supposed to open and swell the cuticle to allow to loosen and remove all the surface debris from that hair shaft and from that skin. Okay. And that's why the conditioner afterwards, if the shampoo opens it, conditioner closes it afterwards. Right. The genius of Xenogen, making the treatment the shampoo part of it and making you do that first, is while you're going in and doing the massage and doing the scrub on your scalp and on your hair, while you're breaking up and loosening all the debris and all the buildups, while you're removing all of that, all those ingredients from that treatment, then you leave it on for 5 minutes.
Right.
It's allowing, since now you've chelated or you've pre-softened or if you're exfoliated, however you want to refer to it as, but as long as you've chelated that skin and that follicle of that hair shaft, you're allowing those ingredients to slowly absorb into that hair shaft, and the hair is going to take whatever it wants. Anything excess is going to turn to suds, basically. Okay. And as it's absorbing whatever it wants, it's really helping. That's what's helping rejuvenate and revitalize that hair shaft.
Right.
And then you rinse that out, you follow it up with a conditioner to lock it in. And that's the power of Evolve. That's the power of Xenogen's, treatment formulas overall.
That's cool. And then also Xenogen makes that massager too, doesn't it? They have
they have a scalp massager as well too. It's a I forget what the material is. It's a soft material. It's got little digits on there that helps to manipulate the rubbing action. So it's gentle enough where it won't create any micro lesions across the scalp. You don't run the risk, because a lot of people go in with their nails and they get a good scrub going, is what they say.
Right.
But what you don't realize is when you're digging in and scrubbing so hard, you may not realize how sharp your nails really get, and you might be
abrading the scalp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Right. So the scalp massager is soft enough. Yeah. So the scalp massager is soft enough to give you those manipulations, to increase that blood flow and to allow you to get that feeling that you're doing something, but it's gentle enough where you're not going to hurt yourself,
right,
without you even realizing that you're hurting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's super cool. Xenogen is my fallback. That's not the right word, guys. My go-to, especially with thinning and or fragility of the hair. It has been amazing for a lot of my clients. Taking it to the next level, especially because it is a nutraceutical. It is all pharmaceutical grade products, and the fact that it targets DHT, which builds up in the follicles and ends up doing what, Eddie? Choking that follicle out, right? Am I wrong with that, or am I right?
DHT, yeah, the buildup of DHT in the follicle is what chokes the hair shaft And then that's why hair starts to thin out over time. It's
Right.
because if your pore is this big, if your pore is that big, and then over time it starts to shrink and get smaller and smaller, it's not that your hair is getting old and it's shrinking. It's the buildup in there is taking up all that room,
Uh-huh.
and now your only space is only that big. So if you cleansed out all that buildup, then your hair shaft, the opening in your pore would be that big again, would have that much more
Right.
room, and the hair shaft growing out of it would fill up all that space again, and then you'd
Right.
have that thickness again. Okay.
Right. Right.
I just have to fact check you on one thing. I know what
Oh,
you meant, but just to make sure for people listening who don't understand what you meant, um, nutraceutical is not pharmaceutical grade.
yeah. Thank you.
Nutraceutical is one step below
Thank you.
pharmaceutical grade.
Yeah. I stand corrected. Wrong
No,
word
I,
came
I
out of my
understood
mouth,
what you
guys.
meant. I completely understood what you
Yeah.
meant. And we should do a whole thing on nutraceutical one day too, because
I think
I did a post about that in our private group on Facebook. I did a whole post about nutraceutical and the difference between cold pressing ingredients and the
yep.
benefits of the different levels of healthiness in ingredients. So
I get that.
let's make ourselves a note and do that one day.
I think that's a good idea. I think when we come around in the rotation that we have, I think that we should definitely do that.
You've got me motivated
Um,
today, man. I got you've got me really motivated today
dude,
between
firing
hitting
you
me
up.
up on extensions and then this.
Well, the extension question I think was really personally really important because we get hit with it all the time. Every single one of us, anybody watching right now has been asked that question, and I just think that coming from you or even if we got Bernard on here, he would probably have said the same thing. You guys that have really become hair extension masters are the ones to post that question to. I didn't know who else to. I just thought information knowledge is good. So we've covered that. Are you ready to really talk about some motivational and some empowerment today, or have I motivated you enough that maybe we should just sign off right now?
No, man. I between Cleopatra, between the Evolve, man. I gotta come on. What else you got? Bring it on. Bring it
Okay.
on. I am gonna
So-
be just a lighthouse beacon of anybody that feels down. You just need to freaking seek me out, man. I'll pump you. I will pump you up. My terrible Arnold impersonation.
Just remember later on, I'm not answering my phone because you're all jacked up and I can't deal with you when you're like this. Okay. So I have our motivational quote for the day. And you ready?
Okay.
The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. You want to hear that again?
Okay.
The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. So with saying that quote, saying that motivational quote to me means back when I first trained, the woman that trained me, and I always refer to her because she really made the biggest impact in my career. She used to tell me the same thing all the time. She'd look at me and go, John, after she was done kicking me in the shins, she'd go, John, you're only as good as your last haircut. And I used to go, wow. So what that quote says to me is when you get up the following day, or when you get behind your chair the following day, or when you deal with your family, the following in another day, try to be up your game with everything and be better than you were the day before, because then you have zero regrets. I mean, you have nothing to look back on and go, oh, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. Instead, there's another saying, show me, don't tell me. And so what that says to me is I got to step my game up each and every day. Every day whether I want to or not, I got to be better than I was the day before, whether it be behind the chair, whether it be with my family members, whether it be with my wife, whether it be with my dog. Every day is a new day, and you got to bring that step, the next one up. I have a buddy that he's actually retired now, but he was a Navy SEAL, and they have the same saying: the only easy day was yesterday. What does that say to you?
I like that. It's deep. That one this week, that's a deep one, trying to be better than yesterday, trying to be better than your own self than you were yesterday. Because when you look back in hindsight and you review what happened yesterday, you're like, oh crap, that sucked. I shouldn't have done that. I regret that. Or you can look back on it and say, oh man, that was really great. I really did something amazing. It goes both ways, right? Motivation is a very fickle mistress. It's because if you're beating yourself up, if you made a mistake yesterday and now today you're sad about it, then you're setting yourself for failure for tomorrow, because you're just that's that downward spiral into the abyss,
right?
And the deeper you go down, the longer you have to rise back up again. And then conversely, if you did really good yesterday, that sets a bar for today that you have to beat.
Right,
so then
right.
But then tomorrow that sets that bar even higher for you to beat that too. And that growth, that personal growth, is addictive.
Right.
It can really become addictive and empowering, and it's got to be doing in baby steps.
But that's it. And the best part about all of that is oh look, there's Stacy. The best part of that is with that kind of growth, what you can do is challenge yourself. And like you said, okay, you made a mistake, you did something wrong, but instead of dwelling on it, what can I learn from this? So tomorrow I cannot make that mistake again, or when that situation arises again, not make the same mistake. But then what I can do is then move forward and be better the next time around. And guilty as charged. There are times where my wife and I are having discussions, and some things sometimes blow out of my mouth before my brain kicks in, and and I'm very conscious of that now, because I used to be, I'm very verbal. And with that being said, I'm better. And I try to be better every day. And you should be, you're better every day. I mean, we constantly check in with each other, and I'm very fortunate. Everybody should have an Eddie, especially the emotional support Eddie. He comes with his own little vest, and all you have to do is feed him milkshakes and cookies.
It's we laugh about it, but that really is a solution. Buddying up, finding a partner at any level, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a professional, whether it's a loose understanding, finding somebody that you are able to check in with on a daily basis, is something. Even because what happens is it sets a pattern and it sets a habit. It's an outside measurement to your progress. Okay. And if you unfortunately can't find somebody and you have to do it yourself, there's a thing that I learned a while ago called journaling. You grab yourself, and especially with technology nowadays, get an online, get a document, get an online document, for free, or if you want physically, go get a notebook and get a pen. And every day write out some thoughts. What was your high of the day? What did you accomplish? What was the low of your day? What did you feel? What did you not feel good about? Okay. But don't use that to dwell on it. Use that as your own measurement. And then discover and evaluate what it was that allowed you to accomplish your high of the day. So then this way you have a measure as to, okay, here's the pattern. Whenever I'm in this environment, personally, mentally, physically, whatever, I'm able to accomplish this high, and then you'll start to see the same pattern with the lows. Whenever I'm in this situation, this happens and I don't feel good about it. It devolves into chaos. And then so don't necessarily dwell on what specifically happened so much. I mean, yeah, you need to track what happened, obviously, because you don't want to repeat the same thing every day, but you'll start to see the pattern after a week, after a month, and you'll say, okay, it seems to be whenever I do this, I run into this, and that equals bad. Now I can start working. How do I start working towards avoiding running into this so I don't equal this, so I don't add this to equal bad? And conversely, I've noticed when I do this, I accomplish this and I grow really big. So what do I have to do to rearrange my life so I can continually keep doing this to grow into this, to evolve, to raise myself up?
Right.
And then at the end of the day, yeah, because regardless of what somebody might say to you, good or bad, take criticism constructively. You don't have to. Criticism is tough, but if you can always try to dissect it and realize somebody spent the time to say something to you, good or bad, right? Take that criticism constructively. And you just have yourself to beat. You just have to be better than you were yesterday.
Right.
Man, that's a deep one, man. That's a really, really deep one. Yeah, I struggle with that a lot. How I am now, how supportive I am able to be now is only because I was a very negative and a very violent yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
That one's deep, man. That one's deep.
Everything I've done, it's amazing as I think back and look. My dog is losing her mind. As I look back, I look at things that I did back then and compared to what I do now, and it's I'm a completely different person. And
hey, she's being better than yesterday. She was quiet yesterday, so she's loud today.
Yeah, there's someone out in the back. There's a worker out in the backyard, and she wants to go out and threaten his life. She's not being better. On that note, we are going to close things off with you guys this week. Come back next week. See what we've got going on. Because we're going to be covering ABS.
Go pay attention to her a little bit, bro. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I want factoids about Cleopatra. I want your opinion. Why do you think hair extensions damage hair? Or have you heard that before? Because it's not a true thing, okay? I want to know, does anybody suffer from terminal length? And have you checked Evolve in products like Evolve? And then, if you're willing to be vulnerable and open yourself up, give us an advice on how, on a system that, I recommended the journaling, or like how John recommended, buddying up with somebody. What is your way of being better than yourself, than your yesterday? So appreciate you all for watching so much. Thank you. Share this video with somebody else if you believe it'll help them, because that's what empowerment is about. And we'll go from there.
Smash the like button, smash the share button, and definitely subscribe. And we will see you guys next week. And I promise my dog will behave better next week.
Says you.